Every time I come down here, I know that growth is so incremental that it's really, really hard to tell just how much the vegetation has spread, grown, with the exception of this stupid cherry tomato plant. This thing has come up, it's trying to shade everything out, so I keep cutting it back, cutting it back, cutting it back. There was another one that was growing in the back that I just finally pulled out. I'm surprised this parsley is not doing that great, but I do see some growth in here that's dark green coming along, so it's doing its thing. The basil is way bigger than it was. Tarragon, I keep seeing it kind of like dry out, so I don't know if it's too hot, not hot enough, too much humidity, what it is, but it's still alive, so you could make yourself some sauces out of that. These guys are coming along. They were sitting upstairs, and that's when their growth habit kind of started getting floppy. But I really like these. They're a paperwhite narcissus, and I like the flower that comes from them. They're sitting on top of Chomper down here, kind of shading him out in the nice part. He's just hanging down here, doing his thing. Aren't you, little chump? See him waving? Yeah, he's waving. He stays warmer than if you were upstairs, 76. Now that I got rid of the plants that were in there, he's doing better. Cilantro, I don't really know how this is doing. It's not bad, but it doesn't look great. I actually took it out of the pots that they were in and put it down in the soil so we get more of a regulated temperature, or not temperature, moisture levels. Back here we have our lime plant. If you don't believe me, it's a lime tree. There's some limes. Now the difference is, once I put it in here, my guess is that every single one of these fluorescents here is putting off a lot of red light. And this thing is flowering like crazy. The difference is none of those are making it through that flowering process. I'm hoping to get a couple of these. I thought maybe with the addition of these guys in here, that would help those set and hold. But again, I'm back to, we got a couple fruit. There's a couple back here. See how they do. But it's also, the other thing too, it grows in like spurts, I've seen. So we've got a little bit of leafy growth coming here. It's variegated all the way through, and I don't know what causes that. I want to put in a couple more of these whiter lights to see if the bluer, I guess, lights. See if I can help with some of the vegetation growth as well. Back here you got another bell pepper. If you look underneath here, got a couple bell peppers there, bell pepper there, bell pepper there. There's a lot of them. And this actually has some really beautiful top growth that you can see here. Looks super, super healthy. So it's coming. Somebody else that's doing pretty well too, and this is kind of interesting. I've got some fruit up here on this side and over here. So I'm trying to work to let that get all the way through. But these top canes, it's like it grows and then it immediately just crunches up behind it. And I don't know why. So I cut most of these canes back, and now underneath, this growth from the base has started to come back. And you got to remember that anytime you've got, chlorophyll happening, it's creating carbohydrates and feeding the plant, and that's the only way to produce, fruit. So, speaking of fruit, this jalapeno plant back here has got a number of jalapenos all over the place, but it is just kind of, looks like it's burning up a little bit back here. It's a little unwieldy, so I think I want to cut it all back so it's smaller. But I also don't, we've got a lot of red light over here, no white light, and I can see that this one seems to be doing a lot more. I keep saying white, maybe blue. So I want to put one of those right in here and see if the type of light that this is getting help with a little bit of the vegetation. And you can see back here, this is all the vegetation that grew during the summer. It's got longer, thinner, bigger leaves, big, healthy fruit on there as well. It's not like I'm for want of fruit with the jalapeno bush, but I would like to trim it all back. You can see if we get down here just how enormous, I don't think I can maybe, how enormous the base of this thing is. It's like a tree. So I want to cut it back so it's got nice, healthy growth off of it. There was a time, I think when it was in the garage last year, when this stuff, we got little tiny, but again, last year the only thing I had were these two lights and then all of this. So the cool thing is you get a lot of fruit indoors, you get a lot of flowering, all of that stuff, but at the same time, my very unscientific view is that down here, look at the green growth that we're getting down here. So maybe a little bit more blue light. I want to expand these two out. I'm going to add one here, one here. Also thought about adding something over here as well. And you can see this spider plant's just going crazy. It's starting to get some flowers on here as well. And this guy was like this big last year. Put it out into the garden. We've talked about it before. This is where the rabbits were chewing things off, which I don't mind. It's just part of the world. But now, man, I have got a million different babies and I need to propagate those and ask people if they want them. Interestingly enough, I think of thyme as like more of a hardy winter, manages cold a little bit. I don't think it does, because it's toasty in here. You can see all the growth working over towards the light, and I have so much time compared to what I had this summer. It is wild. So it is coming along. Got myself a marigold that's coming in here. And then over here, just what do you call those? Succulent. So, it's kind of interesting to see all of this as it goes. I think that the reflective light in the back does help bounce more light off of things. But I do think I need at least 3 more lights. There's your update, December update. I'm going to be gone for a while. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks in December, so I'm going to have to ask somebody to swing over here and hit it with a little bit of water. Hopefully nothing dies.